Hi guys, welcome back to Miscellaneous Pleasures. Uh, this is another different type of video that I have for you today. And if you have been watching my last few videos, you would know that I changed from my setup 1 to setup 2 basically. And this is kind of a variation on setup 2, just that the way I'm set up, I can watch the TV without much issues, and I can also talk here. And the thing is, today I have a football manager video for you, and along with it, I'm also going to discuss the current game, that is Manchester United versus Arsenal. I just felt that this is something that I could do from time and again, and yeah, so let me just bring up the lineup that we have for the game, and also we'll talk about a couple of results that have happened. Please ignore the background. This is the puja setup. Puja is basically some sort of a I forgot what the name is in English. Puja is basically a Hindi word where we pray to the god, and there are a lot of gods here, and my grandmother usually does that on a daily basis. It just happens to be in my room because I wasn't living here for a long time, like 3 to 4 years when I was doing my college. And now that I'm back, the setup hasn't exactly changed because I don't really mind this being here. Though I do mind this being behind in my video, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Uh, yeah. So as I was saying, I was going to get the lineups out. Yeah. So here we go. So we have a diamond from Solskjaer in on his 100th game as Manchester United manager. This is the lineup that I predicted correctly. In the Manchester United app, there is this thing where there are predictions and stuff, and I basically predicted the exact lineup. I just felt that Pogba would play, considering that he has come on as a substitute on like 2 or 3 occasions after the international break, and he has obviously started the Leipzig game, and I think he got substituted. I think he got substituted if I'm not mistaken. I think Cavani came on for him like somewhere around the 80th minute or so. So yeah, I just felt that he would start, and he has started on the left. Uh, yeah, so it will be very interesting. I'm not exactly sure if diamond is the correct option because I mean, according to this, Arsenal's lineup is a 3-4-3, but I thought that this was a 4-2-3-1. But if it's a 3-4-3, it's still worse because if Bellerin and Saka provide the width, and if Aubameyang basically could create troubles for Maguire, and Willian could create troubles for Luke Shaw. Sorry, Lindelof. Though Luke Shaw and Aaron Van Bissaka are somebody that I do trust entirely, at least in their defensive duties. So in that regard, I don't feel confident about this game, but I do think that I don't know why I do this. I mean, I just do this, I think, because I like to see my face sometimes. I'm just worried that I just messed up some recording or something like that. So yeah, I'm not confident, but I do feel that this is probably a 2-1, 3-1 sort of game for United if they play well. If they don't play well, this could be a 1-1 or a just the reverse, basically a 2-1, 3-1. It could even be a 4-1, 5-1 if we are shambolic, like we were against Spurs. And if Arteta has a plan, well then that could also be troublesome if United aren't good at reacting to whatever Arsenal have to throw. And I'm really happy that Greenwood is starting. I mean, I was sure that Rashford would start, considering he didn't against Leipzig. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was worried that Greenwood and Pogba wouldn't play this, and Mata and James would, or at least one of those two would, and I'm actually happy that they aren't. But on the same way, I'm not really confident about this game for some reason. It's probably just the fact that we have got to leave 7 points from 5 games in this season, and all three home games we haven't won. We have drawn against Chelsea, lost 3-1 and 6-1 to Palace and Spurs respectively. So yeah, this is trouble. Uh, it's what 4 minutes for kickoff. Actually, 4 minutes for the players to come out, and they will take a knee. Tosses will happen, or a toss will happen, and I think it's probably a 5 minute away from kickoff. So I'll take that time to discuss few of the results and essentially the table. I thought Wolves had an absolutely fantastic win on Friday night. I'm not sure exactly where they are on the table. Oh, they're fourth. They are fourth. I don't know who they lost to. Did they lose to Newcastle? Oh no, they drew against Newcastle. They lost to Manchester City and West Ham. Yeah, right. They lost to West Ham. It was an Antonio show, wasn't it? Or it wasn't. Wow. Okay. Essentially, my point was that Wolves, I think, had a shaky start, but yeah, now they are back on the towards the top end of the table. I think Chelsea had a fantastic win yesterday. I was actually streaming, not streaming, but I was recording my reaction to Stranger Things yesterday while the game was happening. And I was watching, I wasn't watching, but I was just keeping my eye on it. And I think they had a fantastic win too. Uh, yeah, Werner scoring. Who are they? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The Mr. Nobby Styles. I don't know his full name, I'm sorry. But he passed away, I think, day before yesterday, or maybe even before that. But in this week, definitely. So yeah, he's an England legend. He's a Manchester United legend, World Cup winner player. And if I'm not mistaken, there are only like 3 or 4 of the World Cup winners left. Yeah, so this is a sad day, or a sad, event. And yeah, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, there was also news today that Sir Bobby Charlton has been diagnosed with dementia. So yeah, that's another sad news today. I mean, to be fair, people are growing older day by day, and it's just that life comes at you fast. You just have to be enjoying the moment that you're living at, or living in. Yeah, so coming back to the table, Chelsea, yeah, Chelsea are fifth, and United have a game in hand, and United are 15th. So if we do win this, we will be 12th effectively, but with a game in hand. And if we win that, we would have 13 points, so we will be somewhere on 5th. But that's a long way away, because I don't think the extra game in hand is going to happen soon. I think it's going to happen like game week 32, 33 or something like that. It usually happens like February and March. What else? Manchester City had a very good win. Like, it wasn't a pretty win, but their defense is coming well. Ruben Diaz has done well. Laporte is back and he's playing well. He didn't start the last game, did he? I think it was Ake who started, and even he has done all right till now. And Pep is basically playing this weird formation where Cancelo looks like the left back, but he's actually playing in the middle, or the midfield more like sometimes. And Kyle Walker joins the defense to form a basically 3-1, like whatever, 3-1-2-3 or something, 3-1-2-3, 3-1-3-3. I don't know, whatever the formation is. So yeah, so that's one thing. So City had a good win. That's a fantastic goal by Walker. I don't know what City fans feel about Phil Foden not starting. I'm not exactly sure how many games he has started till now, but I do remember that in their last game when they drew against West Ham, Foden came on and he scored. What? I don't know what this was. And of course, Liverpool won. Liverpool win was a, yeah. I was hoping that West Ham would do better than what they did. I mean, for once, I was trusting David Moyes to do the good thing. Since he has left, I don't know what the issue is, but I think it may be. Oh, I have internet issues. Wow, that wasn't something that I saw coming. To be fair, I have no idea why I do have it. Yeah, this sucks. Yeah, but my recording will be fine, right? I'm not exactly sure how OBS works. I don't think the OBS requires internet, right? Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Excuse me. So, so yeah, Liverpool had a very good win. Uh, I don't think there was a penalty, but people could argue that, and it's fine if they do argue that because it was that sort of a decision basically, or an incident. Uh, yeah, Aston Villa came back from 4-0 down. Yeah, I heard that. I didn't actually watch the game. I was actually out. Yeah, they did come back. Yeah, they did come back from 4-0 down, and I did not watch this game, but they wow, they have peppered the Southampton basically defense. Who did start for them? Barkley, Bertrand Traore, Grealish, Watkins, McKinn. That's not Ming, that's Mings. Tyrone Mings. These guys have forgotten an S. Okay, Ariel Romeo, Walcott, Armstrong, Bednarik. I mean, yeah, I suppose. I mean, Southampton did beat somebody else, or they drew against Chelsea 3-3, didn't they? And if I'm not mistaken, they beat somebody else. I'm not really bothered about Southampton at the moment. But the game is about to kick off. They just had, I think, if I'm not mistaken, a minute or two silence for Nobby Styles. I think it was Nobby Styles or who they are doing that. I haven't actually watched any of the games like from the kickoff, so I don't know if this was just done by United or like everybody in the Premier League this weekend. So yeah, Newcastle just won the game against Everton. I was just watching like towards the end of that game, and I saw the Wilson goal that happened in the 84th minute, and Calvert-Lewin had a difficult chance that he put wide, and then he finished like right after the 90th minute mark. So the game has kicked off. Yeah, the reason I'm actually talking and I'm not actually starting up with this football manager thing is because it's still exporting, and it's a bloody nuisance, I have to be honest. So yeah, that's kind of a troublesome thing. So as far as yeah, so this is the sort of setup that I'm looking for. I'll be looking like towards here more often, and there will be stuff happening in the laptop here. And I mean, I will be talking about the football manager thing, like what I did, why I did that, and stuff like that. So yeah, basically Arsenal have possession at the moment. It's with Gabriel. He passes to Holding, Bellerin. Yeah, so they have started as a 3-4-3. Have they? Willian Lacazette. Yeah, they have started with a 3-4-3. Yeah, I for some reason thought that it would be a 4-2-3-1. I don't know. I haven't really followed their games, Arsenal's games this season. I mean, I've been looking at the results and stuff, but I have probably watched a couple of highlights here and there. But I have not really followed their games like an Arsenal fan would. And yeah. So what else? Yeah, just to look at the table once again. So basically, what this has done this weekend has shown us that all the people who are saying that teams like Everton have a chance at winning, or even Aston Villa like could pose a threat like Leicester City did like 4 5 years ago. That's basically not happening, is it? Because I always thought that it would never happen simply because I think that was what is it called, as false positive, or I don't know, not a false positive, but more like a fake sort of thing. The table was basically deceiving everybody simply because teams like Manchester City and Manchester United, they like had like, I mean, United had only one pre-season game against Villa, and I don't know about Manchester City, but I'm sure even they had like only one or like two games. And the thing is, yeah, so basically no preseason. And even with Liverpool, the game that they lost 7-2, I mean, yeah, you could argue that, that was one of those bad games that every team has once in a while. I mean, they did lose like 4-0 or 5-0 to Man City towards the end of the last season. And they have also lost 5-0 like 2 or 3 years ago when Mane got red carded, like when he fouled Ederson. So yeah, I think that was one of those games. But the Man City game that they lost to Leicester, we lost to Spurs and Palace, and even the Brighton game, I think that was more down to the match fitness rather than, you know, yes, of course, poor performance, individual errors, all were part of it. But match fitness was, I think, the most important one, and that was one of those reasons I thought that Donny van de Beek should have started towards the beginning of the season, simply because he had a lot of preseason games with Ajax, and I simply thought that that would have, you know, we could have used that to our advantage, but we did not do that. So what has essentially happened is, after the international break, like, people of Manchester City, I mean, I don't know their squad, I mean, I do know their squad, but I don't know how many of them, that's a foul, that's a yellow, dude. I'm just kidding, I don't think that was a yellow. But he did, like, slap Bruno Fernandes. I don't know how to see the replay. I mean, yeah, that's nothing. That's not a yellow, I'm just kidding, that's not a yellow. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so after the international break, and Man City squad, I don't know how many current internationals they have, or how many actually went to the internationals. So the thing is, oh, that's a poor pass from who that idiot was. Was it Greenwood? Greenwood. Anyways, so the thing is, I mean, at least in Manchester United's case, most of the players went to the internationals, even people like Daniel James and McTominay did. And all of them basically had their pre-seasons when they played their international games. And I'm sure that a lot of cities people would have gone to the international break. So what that basically does is, even they had the international like pre-season sort of thing. Arsenal are having like a, wow. Greenwood's or Rashford is down. Not Greenwood. Rashford is down, holding his back. A foul from Elneny again. Oh, he's struggling. Yeah, so the thing is, a lot of these teams had their pre-seasons, and of course we know that Van Dijk is injured after that, and that has probably not helped Liverpool's cause in the terms of their performance. But as far as the result is concerned, they drew against Everton obviously, but that they should have won that. I don't know, like, that offside goal wasn't an offside in my opinion. And even, I mean, the last two games they won like 2-1 and 2-1. Yeah, 2-1 and 2-1, and they gave away chances to the opponents, so they aren't looking invincible, but they're getting the wins, so it doesn't really matter, does it? And yeah, even United have had a string of good results now, like last four, after the international break. And if you look at Chelsea, they drew us, and I don't know who they drew. I think they might have drawn Southampton. I think that was a 3-3 result that happened just after the international break. I'm not exactly sure. Just watching the game now. So the thing is, even they won yesterday, and I think their issues was more down to their defense rather than pre-season. And I think they did have pre-season, so I don't know. And obviously they do have issues with squad gelling with a lot of players that they've brought in. So yeah, I don't think this season is going to be like a Leicester City sort of season. But what I do think, or what I do think that will happen, is that I don't think this season is a 100 pointer. Like since Guardiola has basically started winning the Premier League, he won it with 100, and then City. Oh, that's a foul. That's a yellow. That's definitely a yellow. So uh, Guardiola won it with 100, and then he won it with 98 or something, or 97. I'm not exactly sure. And then Liverpool last season had their 99, and they would have, I think, more than 99 had the lockdown hadn't happened, or if this was a non-COVID sort of situation. But looking at this season, I just feel that this might be a 90. It may be Liverpool or a City doing a 90, because I mean, you could say that City are ninth, but they have a game in hand, and if they win that, they're second. So, and the game in hand is, I think, Aston Villa, which will obviously be a difficult game. But yeah, so they win it, they are basically second. So the problem is, yeah, I don't think it's going to be like an Everton or a Aston Villa sort of season. And of course, you could say that Southampton have won their last two games and they drew 3-3 against Chelsea. But the fact of the matter is, their squads don't have the level of consistency required to even get that 80 points. I mean, that's one of the reasons Leicester City did. They didn't have a great squad. They had like people like Conte, Vardy, and Mahrez, of course, who are like the top players in the team. But they obviously had people like Fuchs, Albrighton, Drinkwater, Andy Kane, your two players, Wes Morgan and Robert Huth, players like that, and they were consistent that season. And looking at this season, I don't think Southampton and I don't know anybody else who could be consistent. Leicester City will probably have a similar sort of season like they did last year. When I say similar, I don't mean that they'll start brilliant and then taper off. But I think more along the lines of 60 points, 55 points, something like that. And McTominay, that was a poor pass. Fred, a poor pass again. What the hell is this? Fred's passing is questionable a lot of times, and the reason he has been praised, the reason he has been praised, there are a lot of them, right? But passing isn't one of them. I mean, his passing is alright sometimes. On the best of days, it is alright. On the worst of days, he just misplaces simple passes. And when you are playing against a team like Arsenal, and especially, I mean, I could show this to you. Yeah, I can show this to you. Yeah, so basically, what has happened is, I thought Arsenal are having more possession than this basically statistic shows. But the first 11 minutes, I don't think United have done anything offensively. Pogba has been offside a couple of times, or one time, and this recent attack by McTominay misplaced his pass. So these two apart, I don't think they have done enough the first 11 minutes. And I think this is Arsenal's second corner. But obviously, possession wise, 56-44 is more, I think, accurate. It was 58-42 earlier, and I was like, oh, that is a good corner. Yeah, that wasn't a 58-42 or 52-48 sort of thing. Yeah, but 56-44 makes more sense. And the way United are set up, it feels like United are not going to have more than 40% possession, which sucks, because if United were trying to play this way, sitting back and countering the teams, then I don't know how much of or how significant or how influential the diamond would be. Because if you're playing a diamond, in my opinion at least, you need to have more possession than this, and you need to have like quick passes, all those triangle sort of movements, stuff like that. And if you're going to counter, then I think having a 4-3-3 is much better, simply because you'll have players bombing in, bombing on, and you'll have the two wide players basically falling back. And of course, we don't have Martial today, so I don't think a 4-3-3 was anyways going to happen. But yeah, maybe a Cavani up front, like a target man sort of thing. But I don't think Cavani is match fit either. So so I don't think there were any other option apart from playing these two. Obviously, another option would have been to play Mata, but the problem is if you're going to counter, then I don't know how much of a threat Mata would be, because Mata will not track back, and it's Tierney, right? Their left back or left wing back. Left wing back is Saka and left-sided centre back is Tierney. So either one of them bombing forward, Mata wouldn't be able to do anything about that. So yeah, starting him would have been a bad idea. Starting James again would have been a bad idea too, because he's average on the left, he's much worse on the right. And I think it's more a confidence issue with him. And okay, you know what? They are targeting Marcus Rashford. He has already been fouled thrice, and the foul hasn't been given twice till now. And my team, people in the UK or people who follow like referees and stuff would probably know this better. Like my team's track record, I don't think it's that good with United or Arsenal, to be fair. So, fuck. Oh, dude. Okay, we are playing average now. We are just purely average now, because they have already created, I think, one chance, and this is the second chance, and this is a beautiful ball from Bellerin. And Aubameyang might have been offside, though I don't think it was given anyways. But yeah, and this guy hasn't scored since the first or the second game week, right? There were stats flowing around earlier. I'm not exactly sure how, or what I read, but I think he hasn't scored in the Premier League since the first game week. He was there in my fantasy team, and I did remove him, so I don't think he has. And that's probably part of the reason why Arsenal haven't scored a lot. And they've obviously lost the last two games. They lost 1-0 to City and they lost 1-0 to Leicester. And I think Aubameyang's okay, so this is the fourth foul on Rashford then, because this is a head injury now. Unbelievable. I don't think it was a foul, but both players going for the ball sort of thing. But these are the sort of fouls that are given, and Rashford won the ball. This is elbow, dude. This guy, holding, this is his second foul if I'm not mistaken. He fouled Rashford or Pogba earlier, and I called for a yellow then, because he was basically stopped the counter. But that was probably harsh, but this is his second foul. And Rashford has been fouled 4 times now, and 2 of them haven't been given. Or rather 3 if you count this, because this wasn't given a foul. But so anyways, the problem is I don't have this football manager thing up, because I made like like what I did was basically use the recorder thing to record stuff while I was playing, like yesterday or the day before. And the thing is, I was using this screen recording feature for the first time, because I don't use volume in my football manager. So I was basically learning it while I was doing it. So I have like 3-4 videos, and basically the one that I have compiled, when I say compiled, I don't mean like a reaction video or something. Rashford is through. Rashford do. Or not Rashford, I think it might be Greenwood. That's an offside? Damn. Anyways, so when I say compile, I don't mean like a reaction video where I compile like 10 minutes out of a 45-50 minute video. But when I say compile, I mean more like a 45-minute video as a 40-minute video, because there have been times where I have like paused or like just left the recording on and I've been doing something else, and the game isn't on, or it's just on like a screen but nothing. So I'm basically editing stuff. So the problem is, right now I have like 2 hours and 48 minutes of content, I think. But the video I'm basically making for now is just a 58-minute one. So yeah, this Pratt will give this as a foul. What the hell? Yeah, it's probably a foul. I'm just kidding. So yeah, so 58-minute one. And I did that 58-minute one simply because I thought that the exporting will take time, and that I could just, and I was just editing right now, like an hour ago, or I think, yeah, an hour ago. So, and I had to also edit my other reaction video that I had made, Stranger Things season 1 episode 2, which is, by the way, I uploaded it before the game began, and that's currently blocked, and it should be up on the channel, I think, by the end of the week. I mean, even Stranger Things 1 hasn't been unblocked yet, so it will take time. But Dark and the Queen's Gambit have. So yeah, I mean, with all these blocking and stuff, the problem has been that I have actually reacted to a lot of them. Not a lot of them, but I reacted to Dark like last Tuesday or something like that, or Wednesday, and it got like in the video or in YouTube basically yesterday, or I think today morning. And it's the same case with the Queen's Gambit. I think I recorded it on Monday or Tuesday, and that was up on the channel, I think, yesterday or the day before. So yeah, even if I'm actually recording stuff, to get it on the channel, it has been a challenge for now. The thing is, we are playing a couple of like long balls now and then, but they're not actually effective because Rashford or Greenwood, they can't bloody hit the ball. And we are playing this sort of, basically trying to counter Arsenal, and trying to counter Arsenal with a diamond in the midfield. I'm not exactly sure how effective it is, because yeah, because you don't have width, and when you're trying to counter teams, you need width, because width is something that will stretch the team and create a lot of space while you're countering. When you have a diamond, what you're asking for is your midfielders to play that sort of a wide midfielder sort of role, like expecting probably a Pogba or a McTominay on this side to play that role. And let's say, and another problem in that sort of situation is, you have basically your fullbacks are your width, natural. Please don't tell me that's a penalty. Somebody has gone to the ground, and I don't know if somebody is asking for a penalty or not. It might go to VAR, but currently it hasn't, so I'm not really bothered. The problem with having the commentary off is that you don't know exactly what's going on. Currently they are playing, I mean, since it's muted, I'm going to assume that there's nothing wrong. But obviously it's a foul now on McTominay, and nothing has happened. I don't think that's a penalty, so thankfully. So Rashford has played a beautiful ball. Oh, that's a save from Leno. Oh, dude. What a pass. What a pass. Marcus Rashford. And Greenwood wasn't off. I mean, he was on by a mile. I don't think he could have done better, simply because, yeah, I mean, it's a tight angle, and he sort of scored from a similar position against Leipzig. It was, oh, this prick will give a yellow, I'm going to be furious. Oh, you absolute asshole. This another guy stopped a counter. I think it was Rob Holding. He did nothing for that, and then he elbowed Rashford. He did nothing for that. That's two fouls, right? I mean, I'm not even asking a yellow for a foul, right? I'm asking yellow because of those two fouls and the context in which it happened. And this guy gives Fred a yellow card simply because he stopped a counter. And I do agree that that was a yellow card, but he should be giving yellow card out to the right centre back too of Arsenal. Shambolic. Anyways, it's almost exported, so I think I'll be able to have this in like the next 15 minutes, which will be towards the end of the half. So we have got to, or you have got to endure me speaking about the game rather than about the Football Manager 1. But that was the first opportunity we created, and it was in the, and it took half of the first half to do that effectively. Dude, I do get worried when De Gea is on the ball. It's like, oh, don't give that as a foul. This guy, this referee is useless. Saka falls down as if somebody has stabbed him. This is the replay, right? Dude, yeah, I suppose that was a foul. That was probably a foul. I was just like getting overexcited. Thankfully, he did not give a yellow card because he would have. I'm sure he would have. So what else? What else? Let me look at the stats again because there's no point in you looking at the infinite thing. Let me just reload this. It's a free kick for Arsenal from a dangerous position. 50-48. I don't believe this because this has felt more like a 58-42. And that's all right. I think we should be fine. Pogba on the ball and Rashford. Oh, shit. Anyways, yeah, like they say it's 53-47 now, but in actuality, please tell me they're giving a yellow card out to some Arsenal player. Who has he? Oh, thankfully it's holding. This prick has made 3 fouls now. So at least somebody is getting yellows. This guy just kicked Pogba. Wow. So yeah, this prick has already made 3 fouls in I think. Anyways, so what I was saying is, yeah, it says 53-47 here, but I don't think United have done anything with that 47 apart from that beautiful pass from Rashford. And Maguire has played a good ball to Bruno, which is a corner now, I think. So, or not. Oh, it's offside. So, yeah, that's the thing. First win, I don't think that's an offside. It's marginal. So yeah, the thing is, they have like Thomas Partey in the midfield, right? I'm not exactly sure how well he has passed in this game because there have been few instances where I think Pogba, there was one instance where I think Fred got the interception, and yeah, this is a problem, right? They are basically playing a 3-4-3 as we all know already. So they are having width and United don't have anything to counter that width. And it's a few occasions I think Greenwood has been doing that left right wing sort of job or the right midfield sort of job. And I think Rashford has they are predominantly attacking down the left, their left. So I don't think Rashford has had to do much in that context. These people keep fouling Rashford. This is the 5th time, right? Oh, thankfully this guy gives a yellow card. Thankfully. Yeah, don't cry, Gabriel. Like, seriously, that's a foul. You're basically stopping a counter is a yellow card. And I was furious with the Fred one, not because it wasn't a yellow, but because he did not give one for Rob Holding earlier. And yeah, I think United are growing into the game slightly. It's just now whether we can do something about that. And I feel like United have the creativity to do something about that. It's just that whether we are clinical enough to finish the chances that we do create. Like we like basically Rashford created for Greenwood earlier, and of course that was a difficult chance. I wouldn't expect him to finish that, but we probably need that type of a goal today, like a type of chance which is like a 50-50, and one of our players finishes it, because creating a clear cut chance is going to be difficult, because at the end of the day a lot of people are actually predicting Arsenal to sit back. Until now they haven't had the opportunity to do so, simply because we have been sitting back and they have been actually playing all right. And now that we have actually started to grow into the game, just as I say that we misplace a pass, just now that we have started to grow into the game, it's probably like their turn to sit back, which means that they are going to be defensively like at least organized. I don't know how good they are defensively. I'm sure Gabriel is a better defender than most of the people that they have. I haven't actually had a look at their. Oh, I've done this again. So I haven't actually had a look at their lineup, their back three basically. Okay, yeah. So there is no David Luiz, right? And I was under the impression that, or is David Luiz injured or something? Yeah, he's probably injured. Or else I think he would have started probably ahead of Saka, and Tierney would have probably played left wing back. So yeah, as I was saying, I think Arteta has probably done well with their defense. Yes, they have lost a few games here and there. Oh, that, what the hell was that? Dude, is that a red card? Like, I don't know how high the foot was, but that's definitely yellow, that's I'm sure of. Surely you're going to give a yellow for that. Are you kidding me? I've got to see the replay for this, right? I mean, Aubameyang basically made a sliding tackle, and I don't know if that. Okay, so basically that guy hasn't given a yellow, so I don't think that was a red card offense, definitely. But what are you falling for? Idiot. So Maguire, okay. Yeah, so it's been 29 minutes and 50 seconds, so basically 30 minutes, and on the basis of these 30 minutes, I don't think anybody deserves to be 1-0. And probably Arsenal have created, or rather, they have been slightly more threatening than United have been. But I think United are growing into the game, so it says 51-49 in United's favour now. Yeah, so the last 10 minutes or so, United have had good possession. Or rather more possession. I won't say good possession, but more possession. Yeah, this is getting there. Yeah, as I said, I think I said in the 22nd minute or something that this will be up at like in the next 15 minutes, and still 7 minutes for that. If not anything, this should definitely be done by the end of the first half. And I was actually doing like, this is basically an experimentation sort of video, in that I know that I do play Football Manager, not often, but now and again. And the thing is, the Football Manager thing is a different one than a reaction video for a TV show or a movie, simply because in a TV show or a movie you have to be focusing on the whatever is happening, and because I tend to watch shows and movies that require you to like focus on the reaction and focus on the episode and stuff. I mean, I'm not going to watch like Brooklyn Nine or I'm not going to basically watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine or a Big Bang Theory or something like that for a reaction, or at least not now anyways. So I mean, for those, I don't think you need to be like really focusing on what's happening. But for like other type of shows, your Stranger Things, or it could be even your Arrowverse ones, you need to be focusing on what's actually happening, or else you're going to miss clues and stuff. So yeah, but a Football Manager video, I don't really have to focus on much because I mean the lineup is there, the game is actually happening. I've already played the game. Whatever you'll be seeing is basically a recording of the game. So and I do know how I set up my team and what actually happened. So I just need to look at the screen a few times or more than a few times, but you know what I mean. Not as often, and I have to like talk about what happened or why I did something or why I made a substitution or something like that, or why I made a transfer, stuff like that. So is he going to give a foul? Or Fred's on a yellow. So the, yeah, so that's sort of one of the things. Like that's probably the reason I'm doing this experimentation, because while I'm watching the football game, I can talk about the game like I'm doing now, or I have been doing for the past 30, 35, 46 minutes. I mean, the first 10 minutes was basically me talking about the game or the preview of the game. But yeah, so I've been talking about the game while it's happening for the last 33 and 34 minutes. So I can do that, and I can also do this, and that was actually part of the like my plan for the experiment. And obviously the experiment hasn't actually begun simply because I haven't had the opportunity to show the Football Manager clippings. But now that I look back at the last 34 minutes, I can safely say that half of the conversation has been pointless. I mean, of course, when you're watching a game and you're talking about the game, you're going to be talking about the game and the things that are happening. Fred has basically done another foul now, and I'm really worried whether this guy is going to get a second yellow soon. Like, we may have to. I haven't actually had a look at the United bench. I'm sure Matic would be there, Van de Beek would be there. Cavani, Mata, Henderson, Matic, Williams, Van de Beek, Tuanzebe. So we could, not exactly sure. I mean, we could probably bring obviously Matic for Fred, but is Matic? I mean, Matic played well, right? I mean, Matic played really well after the lockdown, and even before the lockdown, he played well. Especially after he came back from the injury, and there were like a lot of reports that basically he's going to be sold in the January window. But that did not happen because this guy was willing to play. He was a professional and he was willing to play, and he did play well. The thing is, he is getting older. I mean, everybody is getting older, but this guy is already on the older stage, and he's obviously getting slower and slower day by day or month by month. And what's the thing is, if I sit here and say that Matic would do a good job, he probably would. He probably would, right? And I wouldn't be wrong in expecting him to do well. But because he's old, he has a tendency, and because he's slow, he has a tendency to be like, players just glide past him sometimes. And that's a worry. But maybe against Arsenal, I'm not exactly sure that's a problem. I think Matic would do fine, and I think Fred should be subbed off immediately. If not immediately, at least at half time. I mean, yeah, you could say that Solskjaer will have trust on Fred or trust in Fred to not do that, not to commit like fouls. But he's already committed 2 fouls after his yellow card. And shit, Van Bissaka, what the hell? Oh, that guy absolutely missed a sitter. Oh, this is trouble. This is trouble. Dude, hit it out. Maguire is an idiot. Yeah, the ball is out. Basically, Van Bissaka missed a header, and he does that few times. He's not really good at aerial balls and defending with the attacker behind him. And Aubameyang had the ball, and basically he played like you know, basically a pass into the 6 yard box or just outside the 6 yard box to Lacazette, who swung his leg but completely missed the ball. And if I was a United fan, I mean, I am a United fan, right? But if this had happened with a United player, I would be fuming at the guy for doing that. I mean, they're just showing the replay for it now. Bellerin played this cross. Yeah, he missed with the left foot, completely missed it. Like, I don't even think he brushed the ball. He just missed it. That was a half chance. There is more than a half chance for Arsenal. And the thing is, since I said earlier about in the 31st minute mark, oh shit, oh Arsenal are creating a lot of chances now. So since I said that in about 30th minute that United have played for the last 10 minutes, Arsenal have actually played well. And I mean, I do believe in stats, but I'm not a stat person like consistently. But they have had more possession in the last 10 minutes. Oh, he hit the fucking bar. Damn. And yeah, so in the last like 3 minutes they have created 2 chances, and this is the problem, right? This is the worry. I think we may have to change system, and I mean we definitely have to bring on Matic for this guy. Fred. Not because Fred is playing. Oh, this is the third foul. Oh, thankfully this wasn't a foul. Pogba, please do something. Oh shit. Oh, that's good. Oh, don't cry, TNE. So, first 39 minutes, Arsenal have been the better team, without a shadow of a doubt. They have been the better team, and this, as I said, I'm worried about this game. I was worried about this game. I'm still, and these first 39 minutes haven't actually, given me. I mean, they have given me hope that we could beat this Arsenal team, but we do look like conceding, and this is something that I have noticed, right? And I haven't necessarily. I think this is another advantage of Mike Dean, and Fred has basically, I think, made his third foul after being booked. Anyways, oh, Arsenal on the attack. You know what? I have a feeling if United are going to play like big teams, like Arsenal now and generally the top six, or not top six. I mean the big six, and like teams like Leicester and stuff. I think it would be much more difficult for me to look at the game as well as Football Manager. But if you are playing like a Newcastle, for instance, who are going to sit back and we would have to have like a 65%, 70% possession. I think those games, which would be comparatively far more duller, I could probably pull this off. But when Arsenal and United are playing, and especially when Arsenal are creating chances like this, it's difficult to take your eye off the screen and then watch here. I mean, I am watching myself effectively. I don't know why I'm doing that. I should probably keep this thing open for the while. And yeah, as I was saying, I noticed something throughout the game is that there have been quite a few occasions where we have basically lost the ball. Like 3 or 4 of their players have just pressured our players into losing the ball. This happened a couple of times with, I think, Pogba, definitely with Rashford and Greenwood, and even with like McTominay, Bruno and Fred. I mean, Fred basically misplaced a couple of passes, but pressured into doing that. Like, that has happened a couple of times, and Arsenal are playing well, and that's the problem, because like right now my mentality is simple. I just need 3 points. I don't care if they score 2 own goals to achieve that. But the 3 points are absolutely the most important thing. And of course, a performance is important, but the thing is, because United have been inconsistent for the last, like, forever basically. Or Rashford. Oh shit! Oh, this was offside. So because United have been inconsistent, I mean, inconsistent with the results as well as the performance. So yes, I can oh, it was given handball. I don't think that was handball. Like, isn't the new rule basically like if it hits your shirt, it's not a handball? Like it has to be like below this or something. I don't know. So I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, so because United are inconsistent and like with the results as well as the performances, so yes, of course, I can sit here and say that what, the performance is the most important thing, and that I want to see United perform to their best level, to the best of the abilities of the players that are present in the team, week in week out. But I can't say that because that has not been happening for the last 7-8 years. So the best I think as a United fan I can expect is, give me performances like as much as you fuck. Oh, that was a header by Saka, which is just over the bar. So give me like performances more often than you usually do. But when not performing, try to get the win as like put in the dogged effort, like just be like, what to say, like consistently defending well and stuff like that. Don't make individual errors. That's the most important thing I think. Like a lot of the goals since lockdown released, or since unlock if you may, have been individual errors. There have been players that have just misplaced the passes, or like De Gea has made like a couple of errors. Maguire and Lindelof have made a couple of individual errors. Pogba has made an error. There have been, I think, 1 or 2 penalties. I think Bruno has given out a penalty once. Like there have been a couple of penalties if I'm not mistaken. And Maguire has actually made more than a couple of mistakes, and even Lindelof. So I think the most important thing is that we don't actually do individual errors, because if the other team just plays you out of the park, it's probably more a tactical thing and not an individual error. But when an individual makes errors like some of the players have been doing since unlock, as a manager, I don't think you have a choice. Like you can't. I mean, how are you supposed to like prepare for a De Gea making a mistake like he did against Chelsea in the FA Cup, or like the one that he made? I mean, has been making in the past. Also, there is no injury time in the first half, so that's the first half basically, or half time. End of the first half time, and Arsenal have created more chances than United. And this video is up, so that's a fun thing. So I'm going to keep this minimized, and I'm going to pause the recording and just open up that video and just look at the video's details and stuff to see that it has come out well, and I will be back. But I mean, you won't ever really feel it because I'll be just pausing and resuming from your perspective, but from my perspective it will take a few seconds. So basically the real challenge begins now for me, because the video is, I think, fine, and it's half time, so the first like 10 or 15 minutes it should be fine in this regard. But yeah, so the video is going to be up now. I hope this is fine. I mean, this should be the same way I do react to like Netflix stuff, or basically Netflix stuff, or some other TV shows. But this should be the same way as them. So basically, I am playing Football Manager 2020, and I am basically managing Manchester United. And yeah, I mean, I do like the youth development one, and I usually like choose youth development or tactician. It's just a preference. I mean, I have played like I remember in Football Manager 2019, I like uh, started off jobless, and I was like I think it was like December or November end when Leicester City approached me, and they were basically in the relegation zone. They were literally 19th or 20th. I'm not kidding. And I like I just played half a season with them and never really played that particular career again. I got them to safety. I think I got them to safety like I finished 17th or 16th. Like I was shambolic in the beginning, and then like I got like transfer window, and I got like a couple of players in who never really performed. But what basically happened was that my players were playing all right, and I did win the Carabao Cup, I think, against Man City. So yeah, so that was a fun career, but I was just bored with it because the problem with the Football Manager is, for me personally, is that it just requires so much of your effort and knowledge and stuff like that into the game. And when you're managing, like when I am managing a Leicester City, I have managed like Derby County, like a couple of other teams. So when you manage those type of teams, the problem is you don't really know their squad as well as you do Manchester United. And even if I pick a Man City or somebody like that, I'll probably know their first 20 players or something. But I wouldn't probably necessarily know their youth players, for instance. And that I think is really important. And United, I always have a passion for Manchester United, so obviously I'll be fine with managing United. But yeah, other teams, I just lack the motivation to manage the other teams. So yeah, yeah, this is just basically like you know 6.2 million per annum. I think my wages are like 120,000 a week. I think, yeah, it's 120,000 a week. Lacks the reputation of a title specialist. Creates an intriguing dynamic as the intent. What the hell? How much longer is the screen going to be here? Right, yeah. So I have a Salford one, but this is not really Salford. It's basically me. I just created a team. This is long back. Salford and these things are like long back, basically. Yeah, this is the 18th October, which is like I think 2 weeks before. But I basically formatted my system and then reinstalled everything. So since then, this is the first time I'm actually playing. And in this Manchester United version, I think I have completed 2 seasons and I have won one Premier League title, one Europa, and one FA Cup. Yeah, the Champions League, I think I lost out to. I don't remember who I lost out to, but I lost out to somebody in the semi-finals. Anyways, enough of me pausing this. Uh, yeah, so basically they were just most of the things about United I don't know. Like the first thing I usually do with Football Manager, I don't know if it's there in this video or I cut it out. What I do is I just change the staff responsibilities. Yeah, I did, I think, cut it out. So what I do is I just like I don't like a lot of things. Like training and stuff I don't do. I just let my assistant manager and people like that do it. I just play the games, I set out the tactics. I'm sure the tactics will be up any minute. And I do the transfers, of course. I do all of those discussions and stuff. But I don't do trainings. I don't do like, uh, staff contracts and stuff. I just do. I hate it. So I just delegate it to somebody else. So yeah, the first thing I chose is a custom like control position. I like that control position with a 4-3-3 wide, but that is obviously not available here. So I just chose something. I don't know what I chose. Yeah, I chose this, but I just split the forwards into wing positions. And yeah, they are showing the Greenwood chance again in the replay. I don't think he would have done better with that. Anyways, so this thing will be up, and the second formation that I did choose was a 4-2-3-1, like sort of counter, like fluid counter attack. The thing is, the first time I played Football Manager in my life was a year ago. I mean, I knew of the game's existence far before that, but yeah. So the thing is, the first time I played Football Manager, I loved the game obviously, but the thing is, I started with the 4-2-3-1. I started the 4-2-3-1 with a fluid counter attack, and that just suited my team much better in FM9 2019. And I had like couple of careers there, but in the main career that I had, it was like 7 seasons or something. 7 seasons I played there, and that career is probably still there with me. It's just that like, I don't have the game. So the thing was, I just got used to the fluid counter attack, but I never really got other formations. Of course, I had like this mental formation, like a 3-4-3 wing play, where there was this time when I had Cancelo playing here, and I had Sancho playing on the other sort of wing, with like Alexis Sanchez, Lukaku, and Martial or somebody like that. The three up front, a 3-4-3 basically. And I just used to like pepper the crosses in, like my wing backs used to get like goals and stuff. And I think I won the Champions League with the 3-4-3. Rashford scored a hat trick in the finals. With Rashford was one of those players who never really performs for me in the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then just has that one season where he's really good. So yeah, for some reason that happens to me. And yeah, he scored a hat trick against Bayern in the finals. First half hat trick, that too, and the game finished 3-1 or something. So yeah, even here, what I have done and what you will be probably seeing is, I basically sold Phil Jones and Matic because I had previously certain plans for the team, and I just wanted to get rid of Matic because he would have just been an extra midfielder that I would not have even required. And I obviously, I don't know if it's there in this video or it's there in the next one that I'll be doing, but Marcus Rojo, I got him back and I sold him. So that you'll be seeing probably in the next one. And yeah, so I sold Matic and Phil Jones. I don't know who I sold them to. I'm sure it will probably come up in this video sometime later. And yeah, he was already listed. I just offered him to some other team. So basically, my squad currently is Romero, Grant, Lee Grant, and Dahaya. I have Van Bissaka and Diogo Dalot on the fullback positions, and I have Ethan Laird, who is in the academy, for the right back position. Yeah, actually the thing is, you'll probably see me struggling with this interface for the next couple of minutes, simply because the problem was the thing is, when I was recording, there were like these two buttons here on the right hand side, and there was one big one on the left hand side, and it was basically covering the screen. So I was struggling with some of the things that I usually do quickly, but I did get it sorted like towards the end of this video, and probably in the next video. But you won't be able to see that. That's the problem. I just realized that while I was editing, that those two, like, there's this one thing that's pinned on the right hand side, which is like basically shows that you're recording stuff. And there's another big one which you can use to pause and stuff. So I somehow got rid of that, but both of them are not in the video, or not even in the recordings. So the thing is, I think this is me, struggling with the responsibilities and stuff. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Uh, yeah, so there's another thing that I did do here was I got my director of football, and I think I got another coach. I think a goalkeeper coach. So that was all right. And yeah, so the squad basically, as I was saying, so Dallo and Van Bissaka, I have led on the youth team or under 19s, under 23s. Tuan Zebi, Lindelof, Maguire, and Bai are the centre backs. Smalling is on loan. I tried to recall and sell him, but as part of his loan deal, I don't think, not I don't, I do know that he cannot be recalled. So that did not happen. And Alexis Sanchez is really difficult to sell because of his bloody high wages, like 475,000 or something. So I'm never really going to recall him from loan. Whenever he comes, I'll try to send him off on loan or something, or I'll you know just not play him because I don't like him. So you know that's that. This is me basically searching for a good coach. I tried everything, and I think I went with the goalkeeper coach at the end, Hugo Oliveira, I think. I'm not really sure. Have they made substitutions at halftime? Or it seems Fred is still on the pitch. So Fred is obviously not off. I mean, if Fred is not off, I'm not going to be disappointed because it just means that, you know, he's basically trusted to not get the second yellow card. But I do feel really bad about this for some reason. I just feel that somebody is going to get sent off or something, or a own goal or something. We just have to get the goal, just get those 3 points somehow. That's the most important thing. And talking of this, what else? So I got the director of football, I got the goalkeeping coach. You'll probably see it soon. Yeah, this guy, Hugo Oliveira. So this is who I got. And in terms of signings, I'll come to that when the video comes to that. What else? I was talking about the different team, right? So I have the 4 centre backs. I tried to get Smalling, but I couldn't sell him. Left back, I have Brandon Williams and Luke Shaw, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with having 2 players for either of those positions. It's just that if I do get an injury to a left back, I have this guy called Reece Devine or something. Bruno with the shot, and it's a corner. So Aubameyang is down, and I think McTominay went in on him, and it wasn't given a foul. I don't think it was a foul. I think McTominay got the ball, and probably on the follow through, probably did something to him. Yeah. So the thing is, I don't really need these inductions and stuff because I do know the game. But what I don't do is I don't choose the experience thing because they just assign you a lot of stuff, and it's actually, I think, more difficult to get rid of them rather than getting or adding few things here and there in this version. When I say version, I mean when you choose as I'm not experienced, that sort of a category. So if I could pause this for a little, I mean, I don't think I need to pause it because I have already told. I have these 3 keepers, I have 2 right backs, 2 left backs, and 4 centre backs. And thing is, Fosu Mensah is actually injured. So he's injured for 6 to 8 months. So I am not definitely going to have him on the team. So if I do have an injury, it will be trouble because if I get an injury for Luke Shaw, for instance, then in the left back position there is Reece Devine, and there are a couple of other, I think there's one other useless left back, I think Cameron Borthwick Jackson or somebody. So I might be forced to use that person, or I might be forced to go to a back 3 with getting somebody from the youth team as a backup centre back. So that's one thing. And the midfield, I have Bruno, Pogba, McTominay, Fred, Greenwood, Greenwood, give it to somebody. Oh, that's corner again. So we have started somewhat positively compared to how we started the first half. I think Greenwood could have possibly passed it to somebody in the midfield earlier. He then like lost the opportunity to do so later. But I'm sure, I mean, like the thing is, at the end of the day, he is a forward, so he will be looking to score the goals rather than assisting it, which is a good thing. But somebody got a free header and bloody did nothing about it. Oh, it's obviously Maguire. Yeah, see, these are the things, right? These are the things that actually like irritate me, but I'm just like, okay, he's pulling the shirt. Definitely not going to be penalty, right? Because you never get penalties for this. Like 99 out of 100 times you don't get penalties for this. But this is a foul at the end of the day. Which brings me to the diving thing, right? I like the diving thing is basically the thing that I have a problem with, or my sort of viewpoint on it, if I may, is that if there is a contact inside the box, the referee never gives a penalty if the player doesn't go down. And even the commentators or the pundits and stuff like that, they go like, that's a soft one or something like that, which is like, dude, if you like being kicked at, like, I'm sure that the defender is going for the ball, right? I mean, he's not trying to kick the player in purpose, but if there is a contact on the player and if the player doesn't go down, or let's say a shirt is pulled, right? It happens like millions of times in a season. When I say millions, I don't mean millions, I mean like it happens so many times in the Premier League, even Champions League few times, that the shirt is being pulled but the referee doesn't give a foul for that inside the box. And that's probably the reason why players do go down. And as simple as that. And sometimes people just condone it because they want the football as it was previously, rough and physical and stuff like that. But the problem with that is, there are rules there for the reason, and if it's a foul, it's a foul at the end of the day, and sometimes you don't get it, and that's probably the reason why people dive for it. And if there is no contact and a player dives, that in my opinion is obviously worth a yellow card or two if you want to give to the player who dived. If there is no contact, then that's called diving in my opinion. If there is contact, that's not diving, that's just a player went down too easily, if you want to put it that way. And if you think the player went down too easily, then don't give a foul. But if you do think that there was enough contact and the player doesn't go down, then there should be a provision in place where the referees are allowed to give penalties for that, which doesn't happen. So, we all can sit here and criticize the players for for diving and stuff, but you also have to look at it from their point of view. If you're not going to get fouls for short pulls and stuff, then you're forced to fall down. And some players do it better than others, just that everybody who is facing that contact goes down. Some people do it better than others, and some people are just better at falling down naturally, and some people just make it look so theatrical that they are criticized later for diving. Enough of me talking about diving. I'm basically struggling here to pick the team, because what I do is I choose the first 11 and I basically set up the rest of the team. But the problem with that is, because everybody is on a holiday here, the problem I did face was that whenever I clicked on the quick pick, it basically sent everybody out of the team, which I did not want to have. And somebody has basically, thank God Aubameyang did not finish that. Somebody passed it to Fred, and Fred basically let the ball come to him rather than going to the ball. So it was a throw in, and it was Rashford who played the header pass. Fred, I think, has to be taken off simply because he's on a yellow, and even if he makes a small mistake, it's fine, right? I mean, mistakes happen. But the thing is, after a player makes a mistake, they try to overcompensate and make a tackle or something, and that's when the actual foul happens, more often than not. And I'm really worried about this guy's, like, you know, if he gets a yellow or something like that. So I'm really worried about that. And I wonder if Pogba is not Pogba. Solskjaer is thinking of like substitutions and stuff. So that's Fred, that's McTominay. We have started offense far better offensively in this half. We are not just, oh, Pogba did him. Oh, I think you know what, this game needs a Cavani. This game needs a Cavani sort of player, sort of like person who can head the bloody ball. I think even with his movements, as a like, even though he's old and he's probably not quick, but because he was a very good striker, arguably top five in this decade. The decade just went by, so his movements are top quality. So probably he's the sort of person we need at the moment, and maybe he will be coming on if the score line stays the same. And maybe a Van de Beek for a Fred, that would be ambitious. Matic for a Fred would just be like, or maybe Matic for Fred, Van de Beek for McTominay, and Cavani for probably Greenwood. Like Greenwood hasn't really, I mean, nobody in the front has really done anything till now. Rashford. As I was saying that Greenwood played a pass. Oh, Pogba. Dude, that's a foul. Thank you. Pogba basically did Bellerin there. He just headed the ball 4 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 times. Yeah, so you are basically seeing me struggling to pick the team because I didn't know that the quick pick would work like that in that scenario. I just thought that I already picked the 11 and the assistant should probably pick the rest of the subs. That did not happen. So yeah, meanwhile, while this is running, we have a good free kick. Luke Shaw takes it. Maguire! Oh! That was close. This guy should score far more often than he does. Like, he scored his first goal against Tranmere in January, the FA Cup, and then he scored against Chelsea in February, I think, and then he scored now, like, I don't know who he scored against. I think he scored against Newcastle. Yeah, I think he scored against Newcastle. So for a person who has a good aerial ability, yeah, so they are basically showing the possession stats. We had 48% in the first half, and the second half, for the first 10 minutes, we have had 72%. So that's, but the thing is, the first half was played like in patches. Arsenal started well, United had good position then, and then Arsenal basically finished the half well. This half we have started well, but in none of those phases of play, a team has been able to score a goal. And of course, Arsenal created better chance in their latest part of the first half, and United have basically had that wonderful pass from Rashford. And I think one of the other chances, I don't really remember. Yeah, so this is basically me setting up the tactics. I do like my fullbacks to, overlap, and McTominay has done well there. Pogba has done really well there, and he has passed shit. And sometimes, yeah, right. So, but in a fluid counter attack, I do love to have my fullbacks like overlapping. Maybe not in control position as that much, because they won't really get that opportunity to overlap simply because I'll be having far more possession. and I just realized that I have actually made a mistake which I have to change in the game, because I don't generally have an overlap for fullbacks in a control position, or what is it, whatever it's called as custom position or whatever. So Arsenal on the attack now. Tini with the cross. Shaw heads it wide. McTominay, Bruno, and as we saw in the first half, United had a good 10 minutes, and now Arsenal are having their moment, their 10 or 15 minutes. Dahaya with an easy save from the Partey shot. Partey shot. He actually kind of messed it up, but he managed it well. So the thing is, yeah, I don't exactly know when in this video I'm going to get transfers, because there is only 34 of it left, or 34 minutes of it left. And I do want to talk about my transfers. There is one transfer that I messed up completely, and I just didn't think that it would go down the way it did, and yeah, that was disappointing. Oh, that's a foul, that's a foul, that's a foul! What? So, Rashford nutmegged this guy, right? Gabriel, near the corner flag, and Gabriel basically pushed Rashford down to get to the ball. He basically used him as a support, and I don't know how that was not a foul. I do know, guys, that I'm being a bit biased, but if you're not going to be biased for your team, then who are you going to be biased for in your life? So, you know. Yeah, I'm just messing around with the teams and stuff, and Greenwood with the pass to Luke Shaw. The thing is, like, we have a WhatsApp group, right? A WhatsApp group with my friends and stuff who are Manchester United fans. So the thing is, before the start of the game, or when the lineup came out, and a few of us were excited about it, I just put out a message saying, if United are, this is a good thing that we have started with a diamond, but United have to be ambitious enough, they have to be clinical, and they have to be they have to be ambitious first of all, and they should have that effort levels up. I think that United's effort levels they haven't been bad. I don't know if they're at their best, I don't think so, certainly effort wise, but ambition wise, I think it's more down to Solskjaer and how they have been asked to play, and we have been defensive, and if we were going to go for a counter-attack sort of thing, then I don't think a diamond works, because they're anyways going to have their wing players, right? It's not like the opposition team is also going for a diamond. They have a 3-4-3, so there's an overload on the wing positions, and our fullbacks are basically pinned, and even the midfielders are. Oh, Pogba has done well there. He's dribbling and he can't get past Partey because he is a good defensive midfielder. And maybe this game needs a Van de Beek or a Cavani, as I said earlier. And one of the criticisms I had for Solskjaer last season, and this is me actually going for the Van de Beek transfer, obviously, because Van de Beek is there in our team, and Van de Beek is going to be in my team. Yeah, buying him from Ajax was a very simple task, because I just pay like 15 million here, and then in additional fees I think I give like 10 or 15 million. I don't really remember. I think I would have given them 15 million simply because I was just generous enough. But so as I'm talking, Matic has come on for hopefully Fred, because that would make the most sense, and I have actually missed the thing. I can do this, right? Yeah, I forgot. I can not do this because I'm an idiot and I closed this. I did not realize that. Man United versus Arsenal. Oh, I have searched for the wallpaper thing for the YouTube video that I put out for the preview. So, yeah, Fred's gone. Obviously, this is something that I wanted, has happened, which obviously means that, you know, there hasn't been enough ambition to bring on Van de Beek in place of Fred, and he has brought on Matic, which is, I think, fine. I mean, if Matic has a good game, it's fine, right? But there are only 3 substitutions, and one of them is done, and the other two has to be Cavani and Van de Beek. I mean, there is literally nobody else on the bench. Who else is on the bench? I think Tuan Zebi, Dean Henderson are on the bench. Teles is not there, obviously. Who else do we have on the bench? Mata, right? Mata or James, yeah. People like that would be on the bench, and I'm not really comfortable with them coming on because that would just make no sense. I would rather bring Cavani on than Daniel James. Even though if Daniel James was somewhat confident enough, and he was, somewhat in form, then Dan James would have been a good option to have because he's fast and Arsenal's defense aren't necessarily that. So I think I have to go back to my thing because it's a much better idea to look at this screen than an infinite screen. So as I'm speaking, Cavani is warming up, and I don't know why I'm looking at this page. I think I'm looking for that club vision thing to look at my transfers and stuff, like rating and stuff. Not exactly sure. Or I think I'm doing this. Yeah, I love that world thing. I mean, it's fine, right? I mean, whatever money is going there, if it's used well. Aubameyang is through, not really. Arsenal are, as I said, I think they are having basically their time of the half. It's a good cross and Daya pushes it wide, and that was a shit shot from El Nene. So yeah, I was looking for wing players because there's only Martial, Rashford, Dan James who can play there, and I don't want to play Greenwood up front on the wings in my game, and I certainly do not want to play Mata there because he's slow, as I said. Mata at middle is fine, but yeah, I was just looking for other options. Because Ziyech is not available because he's already on a free not free transfer, but he has been already done deal. And I was just looking at the wingers. I mean, if there were any good enough ones to buy, and Chiesa was somebody I thought of, but I just shrugged it off because they would probably ask for a lot of money. Same for Cengiz Under. And I finally go for Victor Fisher because he's a person that I've previously played with, and if you saw the earlier one where I was talking about my previous career with Manchester United in this, where I had finished 2 seasons. Victor Fisher was somebody I had bought in the first season before, like same way I'm done now, and I bought him for like similar amount of money, 5-6 million, and I sold him for 60. I sold him for 60 million upfront to one of the teams. I don't remember who. Probably some Premier League team, like I think Wolves or Leicester or somebody. And Matic, I think I sold to he wanted to go to the Chinese team for some reason. I thought I would sell him to Leicester because they were giving 15 million, but selling him to a Chinese team wasn't an issue for me. Matic is sold to the Chinese team. I think even Phil Jones. The thing with Phil Jones was that wanted. Pogba has given out a penalty. You fucking idiot, Pogba. Oh, you absolute idiot. Oh no. Oh, you idiot, Pogba. I knew something like this was going to happen. The problem for me with something like this happening, especially to Pogba, is that Pogba is one of those players like Luke Shaw, Lindelof, currently Maguire, and as far as we're talking about Manchester United, we might as well talk about Solskjaer. The thing with these players is right, like even Martial, if they do a mistake like this, they're just done in the media and stuff. And De Gea hasn't saved a penalty in a long while, and the last one he saved, it was against Palace, though it was a shit penalty, but he saved it and he was off the line. And Aubameyang hasn't scored since the first game week, and if De Gea saves this, that would be absolutely fantastic. Come on, DDG, come on, DDG, come on, DDG, go to your right. He went to his right, and Arsenal have scored. And he is doing some shit dance. Oh god, this is bad. This is so bad. Like, uh, Pogba is obviously going to be criticized a lot, right? And they're going to say stuff like, defensively he's average, things like that. And that sucks. So the first mistake I did with Van de Beek, let me talk about this football manager for a second, is that the thing is I messed up the Van de Beek transfer. So this is fine, right? So the problem is for some reason this person asked for a contract offer from my side rather than providing one from his side. And what that basically meant was I just gave out some numbers, and I probably should not have given 45,000 per week. First place, I should have probably given like 75. This long ball thing is not I can't understand this long ball thing for him. Like Rashford can't hit the ball. Why are you even trying to do that? So yeah, so your opening offer in this is too far apart. So he has given out an offer, right? And what I messed up was, I think, the signing on fee or something. I thought that he would accept it, or at least renegotiate it, and that guy wasn't willing to renegotiate. And I panicked, I went and made a transfer offer again. And obviously Ajax accepted it. But the problem was, Van de Beek was not even interested in the negotiations. So Van de Beek was gone off the table, and this was a very simple one for me to do. The Fisher one. United are on the attack. Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, United are lacking creativity, and I don't think the diamond has worked in this game simply because the diamonds, like, it's fine, right? Diamond is a good formation to have sometimes, and if you have a lot of creative midfielders and stuff. He has given out a yellow for Greenwood for making a tackle, the same tackle that Aubameyang played on, I think it was Bruno in the first half. And they never really showed that replay for that thing, so I don't really know what happened. So yeah, so I was talking of Football Manager, I was panicking, right? And the first person I thought of was Lorenzo Pellegrini. I mean, Maddison, I knew that he would cost a lot of money, and I'm not particularly impressed with him in the game. Maybe he would play well for me, I'm not exactly sure, but he's more of an attacking midfielder rather than a midfielder. And I did not want to buy one of those because I have Pereira, who surprisingly is one of my favorite players in Football Manager, because he's just shit, right, in the real world, or at least he's playing like that at the moment. And the first time I played Football Manager, and I had like Pogba and a couple of other midfielders injured from the beginning, so I started with Herrera, Pereira and Mata. And Pereira used to take the corners, he used to take the free kicks, and he had like 15, 16 assists that season. And since then, he has been one of my favorites. So I have Pereira and Bruno who would play there, and Van de Beek is coming on here. Van de Beek and Cavani are coming on, so I think Greenwood is off, and Pogba might. I hope it's not Pogba, but it's McTominay, because that's kind of the attacking choice, right? But removing Pogba would be like, yes, he has given out a penalty, but he hasn't been shit. And sometimes I think people just expect a 9 out of 10 from Pogba because his name is Pogba and because he costs like 90 million or something. But I don't think anybody has played particularly great in this game. Because, like, yeah, defensively, I think couple of people have like played all right. Creativity wise, nothing really, like apart from that Rashford pass. There have been a couple of instances here and there, but we haven't been great. So removing Pogba, I don't think is a good option. And removing perhaps McTominay, oh, that was brilliant. Oh, that's a foul. That's at least that's a second yellow. Surely that's a second yellow. Why isn't that a second yellow? That's what I don't understand. Mike Dean and the VAR have to think of the second yellow. I don't get this. So Greenwood basically tricked Gabriel and he tackled and he was away. If not for the tackle, Greenwood was away. So I don't understand it. Talking of Football Manager, yeah, I didn't know about this thing, his release clause, because I think he wasn't scouted, so I didn't know about his contract and stuff. And yeah, so Greenwood has gone off for Cavani. So who has come on? I mean, who has gone out for Van de Beek? I think Pogba is still there. So is it one of the centre backs? Or is it McTominay? Oh, he hasn't gone off, and it's for 34. Oh shit, it's for 18. 18 is Bruno? Bruno is going off. Okay, that's interesting. That's really interesting, because why take off Bruno? Because Bruno actually played only like 30 minutes or 25 minutes against Leipzig. And well, yeah, okay, Bruno is off. Maguire has tried for a worldie from 40 yards and that's not going in, mate. Yeah, so obviously Jones will be off soon. Yeah, the thing is, as I was saying earlier, I think I got off track. Jones was basically like, people were interested in Jones, but the people who were interested, I think it was only West Ham, and they wanted him on loan. So when I offered him for like 10-15 millions or something, and these two Chinese clubs, I don't know if both were Chinese, but basically two rubbish clubs, came an offer for him, I was like, yeah, fine, take him. And I tried to persuade this guy to go there, but nothing really came off the conversation. And what happened was, I offered him on loan. Yeah, this blocked by board happened to me for twice, once with Jones and I think another with somebody else. I don't understand why that happened. But basically what happened was, I offered Jones on loan for some like 100% wages and like mandatory future fee and stuff like that. And you would see in the future, in the next 18 minutes, that basically West Ham pulled out of the deal, or were disinterested in the player after seeing that offer. And because I had accepted the bid from two Chinese clubs, or two rubbish clubs, I don't know if both are Chinese, so Jones went. I didn't think that transfer would happen because Jones was completely disinterested in those clubs, but because this one happened, that was fine. That's a shit corner from Luke Shaw, which makes me question why Luke Shaw is taking the corners. Like, I get right, Bruno is not on the field. Surely there is somebody better than Luke Shaw to take the corners. And the problem is, while I'm talking about this, I have seen somebody is asking for a handball. I don't think that's a handball, dude. Uh, yeah. So while I'm talking about Luke Shaw taking corners, the corner that he took basically hit the front man, which is like, what's the point? So I'm apparently going to meet the media. That's a foul from Partey. Yeah, so this is the one that I was talking about. What I did was I basically loaned him out or offered to loan him out for 100% wages in mandatory future fees. Rashford. And that's not a corner. Yeah, I don't think United are winning this game, to be honest, because it's kind of obvious for me that there has been no clear-cut chances. There has been no clear-cut chances. Yes, the Greenwood one was sort of a clear-cut chance, but that was too wide to be called a clear-cut chance. And yeah, somebody is down for them. I think it's a cramp or something. Oh, I don't care what the condition is. So Shaka is coming on. I forgot, this guy isn't this guy a starter for them? Like, has he been performing shit recently, or was he just injured or something? So yeah, press conferences are average questions, right? I mean, most of these questions are repeated, and once you have like done like a season or so, once you're done a season or so, as I have with my previous career in like before this one, most of the questions are repeated, so it doesn't really like, you don't even need to read the question to like before choosing the answer. Like the first few words, you know what they are going to ask. Somebody please score a goal, at least get a draw. Like, the thing is, even if this is a draw, right, people are going to criticize Solskjaer, and yeah, I do think that Solskjaer deserves criticism, but the type of criticism that he'll get, you'll almost feel like United are like, did not finish third last season, they finished like 10th or something. And yeah, so he will obviously get a lot of criticism even if we win this game. And that's the thing, right? Even if we win this game, they'll probably say, you know what, United was shit for 80 minutes, and because of one guy's brilliance, I don't know who will score those two goals, but let's say it's Rashford or a Pogba or somebody. Because of the brilliance of those players, we had got through, but Solskjaer is not a good manager. That's a sort of narrative that is definitely going to build up. I mean, I can say this even before the game has ended. Whatever the scoreline of this game, even if it's a 4-1 or a 5-1, right, for United, I mean, come on, nobody is going to score 5 goals in 14 minutes in this game. But let's imagine that happens. Even then, Solskjaer will be criticized because of the way the first 80 minutes have gone. And that's kind of obvious for me now. So yeah, obviously I did sign Victor Fisher, and United are trying to like force the play, right? Pogba has been alright attackingly speaking, and Van de Beek hasn't had much to show for now, but he did just come on. So the thing is, obviously Arsenal are sitting back, so that everybody knows that's going to happen after, especially they have scored. So how are we going to create the goal is my question. As a United fan, I have no idea how this goal is going to come, especially after seeing this game. Like, even before seeing this game, if you had asked me how we are going to score a goal, I would have probably said, Bruno. Oh, that's a good cross, but somebody dealt with it. Like I would have probably said, somebody will give the ball to Bruno, and he'll probably play a good pass to somebody else, like a Rashford or Greenwood, and they'll probably play the final pass to again a Bruno or somebody else. So this sort of a, like, if you're talking to a Liverpool fan, he'll probably say, we're going to push the fullbacks forward, and one of them is going to cross, and Firmino or Mane is going to score a header, or Salah will show his brilliance and stuff like that. But as a United fan, because of how inconsistent we have been for the last 8 years, and obviously even under Solskjaer, it's kind of difficult to say how we are going to score, especially when we are trying to break a defense and not counter. I mean, countering goals are fine, right? Cavani to Pogba, that nearly happened. And talking of Football Manager, I mean, my plans for Victor Fisher are the same that I had previously. The last time I signed him, I had no idea who he was, and I was just hoping against hope that this guy would do some good. And he was alright, I have to be honest, but he was like, he had to be sold because my team was just far better than. Oh, that's a brilliant play by. Oh, that's a good tackle by somebody from Arsenal. That was brilliant by Matic and Van de Beek. And I think seeing this play, I have a feeling that Bruno was probably the worst of the midfielders in the team today. Like, please somebody score. Van de Beek crosses, it's hits the post, dude. Maguire to nobody. Pogba, please give it to somebody good. McTominay passes to Van Bissaka, cross. Nothing comes out of it. Van Bissaka, please give it to a midfielder. Dude, you took it back. Matic has been alright since he has come on. Like the substitutions have shown me, like, I was surprised when Bruno went off, but like McTominay has been alright. And I have to look at the stats, right? I'm not really good at like observing the game and knowing that this guy has been brilliant. It came off El Neni, and I think it brushed Leno basically, or slightly. Oh, it hit Leno's head and hit the post. And had that gone in, that would have been exactly what I was talking about earlier. Like, even an own goal is fine for me. That would have been that. And they are bringing on Mustafi for somebody. They are bringing on Maitland-Niles for Willian. So Arteta is basically going for the defend it to hell and get the 3 points. And United have been pushing the door slightly, but yeah, I'm not really sure if we'll. Hopefully, we'll get 1-1 right. I mean, 2-1 would be brilliant, but I don't think that's happening. Like, for it to happen, we would have to have the next 10 minutes an absolutely mental performance. But I think 1-1 is something that I can see coming. Especially the way the last 3-4 minutes have gone. I think 1-1 is coming. Hopefully, at least. Or a 2-0. Because the thing with this is, obviously, because we have so many players up front and like pushing forward, counter attack is always going to happen, and that's one of the ways we actually like, oh, Matic, don't do this. Like, this guy will get red carded for doing something stupid like pushing Aubameyang. I mean, I understand that these people are basically like wasting a lot of time, and he is obviously wasting a lot of time, and he probably should be carded for this, but he won't. But the point is, the problem is, like, when the opposition does something like this, which is obviously not right, and the referees don't do anything about it. Who has he given a yellow card to? He has given a yellow card to Aubameyang. Okay, thankfully. So, and when the referee doesn't do anything about it, like he didn't do anything about it till the yellow card, right? So first 2 3 moments he didn't do anything about it. So what happens is if your player then basically like tries to push him or something, and like even if the hand brushes your face or something, right? He'll just go down like holding like this or something, and that's exactly how Martial got red carded against Lamela, against Spurs with the Lamela incident. Like Lamela basically pushed Martial or something like that. I don't exactly remember the incident. I mean, it was like 3 4 weeks ago, and Martial basically, just like pushed him, and his hand was like here or something, and he did not slap him, right? That's not violent conduct, but that was considered violent conduct by the referee in the VAR. Don't fall down like idiot. So I think referees have to do better in those situations. And people like how Matic reacted there, that should not happen, because you just basically creating a situation against you, and all it takes is a bit of hand slightly here to happen, to get you carded basically. Uh, the first 4 minutes after the 80th minute mark were good, the next four haven't been. We are just pushing the issue basically, and Arsenal have done nothing. We have had possession, right, but we haven't actually done anything with it, and there have been few close shaves with them getting the ball. uh, Dude, you're kicking, what the hell? Did Maitland Nice kick Rashford's head there? I don't know. I don't even know if they are if they are checking that in the background or not. It seems like they are not. Uh, yeah, so talking of Football Manager, I mean, I don't know what's there in the last 6 minutes. Probably, I think, before the first game. There are no games in this, I'm pretty sure. So, I haven't been paying attention to the Football Manager screen of as of like last couple of minutes or so. But has Pogba done? I think Pogba has done it, right? Or is it going to come? Basically, Pogba basically what he did was, he was like, I'm disappointed that the team did not finish in the Champions League positions last season, and I want to move to a different team. This happened to me in another Manchester United career that I basically showed at the beginning of this video, and at that time what I did was the same thing that I did now, but at that time I had a slightly bigger price tag, I think. So I basically obviously I told him that we have players now, and they will get you to the Champions League and stuff. But what happened was, he obviously did not accept, and then I basically gave him or promised him that I'll sell him if a 90 or 100 million something move comes, and he accepted it. But this time around he did not, and I basically had to accept for 80, which makes me slightly worried. Yeah, see, it comes now. You'll be able to see now what I was talking about. And I have actually played most of my preseason games, and till now Pogba hasn't been sold, and this tactic has worked for now, but I don't know if it is going to work. Lindelof is angry at Pogba for not coming near him for the pass, and that's what happens when you have so many players up front, because when you have so many players up front, what happens is you sometimes just forget that this is at the end of the day a team game. You have to pass it out, right? One player is not going to bring the ball from the defense to the pitch or something, so they have to. I mean, this is just 2 minutes left now. Matic is giving it to Van de Beek, Luke Shaw. to somebody and Leno saves it to Matic. Yeah, so I think this is going to finish 1-0, and it's an extremely disappointing end to the game. And the thing is, this is what now, 4 games in the home. We have drawn Chelsea but lost to Arsenal, Spurs, and Palace. So that's 4 London teams, right? I just realized 4 London teams, and in 4 games we have had the aggregate score of 10-2 against us, obviously. So Pogba with a magnificent run, but nothing has come of it. And their player is charging now, and obviously he'll waste a lot of time. There's only 1 minute left. Not even 1 minute now, it's just like 50 seconds or something left. That's a good win by Luke Shaw. Oh, go on, McTominay. Surely this. Come on, guys. Oh, there is a shit pass from McTominay. What are you doing, dude? So, Pogba is obviously going to get a... This guy is booking people for fun now. I mean, that's not a yellow card for Cavani. What the hell? So, Pogba is obviously going to get a lot of criticism for this performance or for this result. And rightly so, right? I mean, he did give away the penalty. But as a team, I don't know if Rashford was that good. I think this is a tactical fault. And I think the most fault has to go to Solskjaer. And I have been sitting here and saying, I mean, I've been defending Solskjaer, right? And I've been saying stuff like, he will get a lot of criticism and that's not deserved. And Arteta is obviously, it's 1-0. It's fucking 1-0. And Arsenal have obviously won this after 2 defeats. And United have 7 points from 6 games. And if this finishes, I'll be able to... There's only 45 seconds left. I don't know exactly what's going on. Yeah, I do this training thing where I assign mentors and stuff. For some reason, the mentor assigned for the defenders group was somebody that was going to be sold or I don't really rate. I don't remember who it was. I wasn't watching the screen. But I set Maguire to it because, captain and stuff like that. I don't have anything to say about this. I don't think there is anything left to say in this. I'm just moving around the screen right now. The next video, I'm pretty sure is going to have good stuff in it because I have finished most of my preseason games. And that should be ready by the time I do my next Football Manager 1, which will probably be the Champions League game or the next Premier League game that we have, Everton. No, actually the Everton one I'm not doing a video because it's a 6 o'clock kickoff IST. So I won't be doing a video for that. I'll be doing a video after the game but not for during the game like I did now. So yeah, so let me reflect on the result, which is because it has been absolutely shite. 1-0. So I mean, I don't know if the table is updated yet. Surely it is. The 6 games, 7 points is shit, right? I mean, it's obviously shit. And I don't remember how much we had last season, but I'm pretty sure it was something like this: 6 games, 9 points or 8 points or something. And the problem is obviously we have a game in hand, and it's against Burnley, if I'm not mistaken. And even if we assume that we win it, we would only be 13th. And yes, Liverpool would only be 6 points ahead, but it's only 7 games. So winning the title is just out of question. But maybe we can... I mean, I'm pretty much confident as of now that we would finish in the top 6. Top 6 is not good enough though. And we have to finish in the top 4. And the problem is Arsenal are looking better than they did at the beginning of last season. they do have seem to have a system, and they are winning the games that they are supposed to win, regardless of today's result. The first 3-4 games that they played, they won them, or they got points out of them, and obviously they are winning the games that they should, and they are losing the games that they would generally would. So they have lost against Leicester and Manchester City, but they have won against us, and I'm pretty sure in like against Chelsea, Spurs, they'll definitely get a result somewhere, and they'll probably get a result out of their Man City reverse fixture, and obviously Liverpool. So Arsenal are obviously going to be up there. When I say up there, I mean top 4. And Spurs are playing like, if Liverpool slip up, I think Spurs are the team that could probably win the league. Or probably not. I mean, if they do get injuries, then they are absolutely done. But if they don't, then I don't think they have a chance. And this is a bad result. The problem with this result is that now there is a pattern, right? We won against Newcastle, but people will argue that it was 1-1 till like 85th minute or something. We beat PSG, which was a good performance, but obviously we do play well against the big sides which we can counter against, and even though that was not a counter-attacking performance but more a team performance, people won't see it that way. And the Chelsea result was again lack of ambition and poor performance, not poor, but it was an average performance that day. And this loss is basically a nil-all, but a player has made a mistake and given out a penalty, or else this was a nil-all game. And I think if not for the penalty, this would have been a nil-all game, because as I said, the first 65 minutes or so, it was a basically game of phases. We had a good phase, they had a good phase, we had a good phase, they had a good phase, and nobody actually did anything in that phase. Like, yes, Arsenal created a couple of chances and we created a couple of chances, but nothing really came out of it. So yeah, bad result, bad result. uh, uh, the UCL game that we have against Istanbul Başakşehir on Wednesday, I think 11:25 p.m. kickoff, if I'm not mistaken, IST. So I may do this sort of a setup that day, but I'm not really sure. I can't promise anything of the sort as of now. The Stranger Things video was up, but it was copyrighted, so it will take time for it to show up on the channel. This video should be out. I don't think it will be out now because it's a 2-hour 7-minute stream, and that's probably going to be a lot of GBs and stuff, and I'll probably upload it first thing tomorrow morning. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. This has been a bad performance. Not a bad performance. It has been an average performance, an ambitionless performance, but I do believe that tactically we got it wrong. But the problem is, when I say we got it tactically wrong, there has to be a right one, right? But the problem is, because there is no Martial and Cavani isn't match fit yet, I don't think so. So the right system would probably have poor players in it, or players who wouldn't have done well anyway. So yeah, this has been a difficult one. Substitution wise, I think Solskjaer did well. Bringing on Matic or Fred was kind of obvious for me. Cavani and Van de Beek was also kind of obvious, because if he did not pick the other players for the first team, there was no way he's going to bring them on. But for Bruno was surprising. I don't know if Bruno had a niggle or anything like that. I don't think he had. So, and what Bruno has shown since he has come to Manchester United is, of course, he has shown that he can create goals, right? But what he has also shown is that there are games where he's average, just like he was today. But in those games, he just comes up with an assist or wins a penalty or like provides a beautiful pass in the build-up of the goal in the 85th, 88th, 90th minute, stuff like that. So even though I've criticized him few times since he has come to United for his performance, But in those instances, he has provided an assist or scored a penalty or won a penalty, stuff like that. So, yeah, that was surprising to see that McTominay stayed on, because I said that during the second half sometime, that it would be interesting to see if Van de Beek came on for Fred, or Matic came on for Fred and Van de Beek came on for McTominay. And in the end, obviously Van de Beek came on for not even Pogba, he came on for Bruno. So yeah, and Pogba, I don't think he did enough. I mean, but that's kind of the usual thing, right? So yeah, I haven't seen any messages, or I don't know how not typical, but the usual Manchester fans are reacting on Twitter. But I'm pretty sure people like Pogba are getting the criticism. I'm pretty sure Solskjaer is getting the criticism, because they both, I think, deserve it. Rashford did not play particularly well. Greenwood didn't play particularly well. Nobody played particularly well. I mean, even the defense, I think the defenders were all right, but there was a couple of mistakes here and there. There were chances provided. Yeah, so that's all for this video. I think I'm going to be done. That's all for this video. There are a lot of stuff coming up, so if you are watching this channel's content for the first time, please like, share and subscribe, and please stay with the channel, because I will be uploading on a regular daily basis, and almost all of the content categories have been covered till now that I promised earlier. This is sort of the gaming one, but this was just an experimentation. I'll be back with the real one either on the Champions League day weekday or on some other day. And obviously, reactions for Arrow, Stranger Things, Dark and The Queen's Gambit have been up. Stranger Things will probably get unblocked pretty soon. The other things have been up, and I'll also be coming up with a video on football. Probably not, because I don't have any other content. I have almost spoken most of the content on this video. So that's all. Thank you guys. Bye, good night, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching it, wherever you're watching it. So I'll be back, and please come back to the channel.